Hey guys, today we're going to work on lesson 11 in math. Um, as you're looking through the worksheet, you'll notice that the difference today is yesterday we were working with fractional amounts and a whole number. And sometimes it was only one of the sides that was a fractional amount. Now you're going to see that sometimes you're going to see a fractional amount on both sides, so a mixed number. So let's take a look at 1A that's partially done for you as an example. It said that Kristen tiled the following rectangles using square units. Sketch the rectangles and find the areas. So this one they gave you the rectangle already. You're just going to have to go ahead and draw your own rectangle. And then it says, then confirm the area by multiplying. It says rectangle A has been sketched for you. So we look here, rectangle A, we need to figure out what our length and our width is. So when we look at this, some of you guys were only giving part of the length or part of the width, as I was noticing when I was grading. So I want to walk you through this one. When we look at this whole shape, the only thing they're doing is they're breaking it down. This whole length here is 2 3/4 across, okay? Does everyone see that? 2 3/4 across. What they did is they broke this up. They broke it up into a 1 unit, 2 units, and then here is the 3/4 of the width, okay? Obviously, the drawings are not always going to be exactly accurate, so you have to keep that in mind. Um, so we've got this drawing here, and it's broken up, and then down here, once again, it's because it's 1 1/2. This is only a half down here. Keep that in mind. It's not a whole, okay? So this is a half and a half, which is why together they make this one whole. And then this was originally 3/4, right? But because this length here is only a half, then we have to minimize that too. We have to take half of that 3/4, and now it becomes 3/8. So 3/8 is the half of the 3/4. If you're not sure, you just need to double that denominator. So that went from a 4 to now an 8, okay? So then now when we find area, we need to just multiply length times width, right? So we have to find our length, and I'm going to just write in here, it's 2 3/4. So I'll write down my 2, and bear with me because it's hard to write. I know as I see some of yours, you're doing a really good job using these tools trying to draw. So 2 3/4 is our units long. And then our width here is 1 1/2. So now it's 1 1/2. Another thing I was noticing is when you guys multiply, you're multiplying just the whole numbers, and sometimes you're forgetting that fractional amount. Okay, yesterday we broke it and distributed those pieces so that we could multiply a little bit easier, but um, that's what I find is easiest. If you want to turn this into an improper fraction and this into an improper fraction, just multiply them, totally up to you. But what they're showing you in this unit or in this lesson here is to break it down and to say that we're going to do 2 times 1, put it in parentheses, and then we're going to add, now we need to have our 3/4. Okay, so then it's your 3/4 times your 1/2. But we're not done there. A lot of you guys would just go ahead and multiply only these things. But I did it this way because I figured this is how you're probably going to try and do it. And I want to make sure that you're not getting mistaken. So really, we have to make sure we're doing 2 times 1. See how we do this? Remember back in module 2, 3, one of those, we learned how to figure out area models. So 2 times 1, but then we need to do 2 times the half down here. Do you see that? And then we're going to have to also take our 3/4 times the 1, because if we did 3/4 times the half, that's getting this measurement here, but we need to also do 3/4 times 1. So right now we have 2 times 1, and now we have 3/4 times 1/2, but we can't forget about every piece of this. because otherwise we're not getting the full area. So now we did 2 times 1. I need to do 2 times 1/2. So 2 times 1/2. And I'm running out of space, so I'm just going to go ahead and I think you'll be able to hopefully see off to the side here. Plus, now we've got 3/4, excuse me, 3/4 times 1. Okay, it's not going to allow me to write over there. So I'm going to do my 3/4, whoops, times 1. Whoops. Okay, so now all I need to do is I need to just solve to find my total area. All right, I'll change up my color. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3/4 times 1/2. So remember, it's numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. As you're noticing, I'm getting this 2 times 1 is 2, like they have in there. So that's why we have these visuals to kind of check back and say, am I doing this correct? And then 3/4 times 1/2, that's 3/4 times the 1/2, which are answers in here, and 3/8, that's matching up so far. And then I need to do 2 times 1/2. Well, you can almost imagine this 2 as a 2 over 1 if you need to, so that you don't mess up your multiplication. It's 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. So that's 2 over 2 turns out to be 1. We'll get to that. And then we're going to add up this 3/4 times 1. So technically it's 1 over 1 when we go to multiply. So 3 times 1 is 3. And 4 times 1 is 4. So really when we look at this 3/4 times 1, our answer is 3/4. So we can look back to the drawing to see, am I doing this correct? And so far we're on track, okay? So now we have 2 as a whole number, plus 3/8, plus 2 over 2, which is technically 1, plus 3/4. So we know 2 plus this 1 can be 3. I can get this going right now. And then 3/8 plus 3/4. Can I add two fractions that do not have the same denominator? No. So now I need to find a common denominator. Well, I do know that 8 and 4, I can have 8 be my common denominator. Okay? It can't be 4 because 8 can't decrease itself, but 4 can, when you skip count, you go 4, 8, right there. That one has the same denominator, so we're going to stick with that. So now I'm going to say 3/8 plus, now to change this 3/4 into an 1/8, I'm going to make my denominator 8, and I multiply 4 by what to get 8? 2. So because I multiplied 4 by 2, I'm going to multiply 3 by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. So now I get 6/8. 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. They are the same fractional amount. If I were to cut the pizza into 6/8 or 3/4, you'd be getting the same amount. Okay? So 3 plus 3/8 plus 6/8. Now I can add these two fractions together. 3 plus 6 is 9. So now I have 3 plus 9 over 8, which 9 over 8 is what type of fraction? It's an improper fraction, which means that there's a secret little whole number inside of there. So 8 can go into 9 one time, and, whoops, 8 can go into 9 one time, and then there's how many leftovers? 1 leftover. So this 9/8 actually equals 1 and 1/8. So 3 plus 1 and 1/8 is going to be 4 and 1/8. So that's our answer here. just helped you out with the first one. And you're going to place in here 4 and 1/8. And I know that it's really hard to draw in here, so like I said, continue to do all the math on paper at home, and then just type your answers into the box, okay? That's all I want to see, because I know this is hard to try and draw inside of the document. Soon, I think it's like not next week, could be. Soon you guys will be able to pick up your math workbooks, and then you'll be able to do all your math inside of there, and that'll be a lot easier. So this is how we do this problem. If you have any questions or you didn't understand it, please make sure to write me. I'm trying to do a recording of a video because I know not everyone's able to log on and do the video chats and then they miss working with me. So hopefully this works out for you guys. One last thing I want to show you is this number 2 because this one's a little different. It says a square has a perimeter of 25 inches. What is the area of the square? Well, to find area, we do length times width. And it just says that the perimeter is 25 inches. Yes, or not yesterday, the other day, 2 days ago, when you worked with me, I talked about perimeter. And some of you were kind of confused still, so I want to remind you again, perimeter is the distance around. So when I make my shape, I've got a square. We're talking perimeter is the distance all the way around this shape. Okay, so when we talk about the distance around a square, if it's 25 is the total perimeter, what do we know about a square? We know that on a square, all sides are equal. So how would we figure out what each side equals if we know the total is 25 and we know that every single side is the same length? I hope you can figure it out knowing that it's 25 all the way around, and if there's 4 of the same side, how do we figure out what each side is going to equal? Once we figure out each side, then we can go ahead, this is a two-step problem, because then we can go ahead and find out the area by taking the length times the width and getting an answer, okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I hope that this was easy to understand and that I kind of broke it down. If I didn't, let me know what I can do next time to kind of make this a little bit smoother for you. But otherwise, good luck on the homework and I will see you later on this afternoon. Have a great day, you guys.